Hello everyone, welcome again to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. It's Paul Schrimpf here again with Eric Sfiligoj, back in full force. We actually have may have a guest next week in Matthew Grassi, our field editor, who's is at the Asmark Retail Tour. That was a real Ironman tour. I don't know how many retailers. We talked about it being
30, I think.
20, 30, maybe 100, I don't know. But he's going to tell us about some of the key learnings from that next week, which should be interesting. Get a figure on the pulse of what's going on with retailers. Busy week in news. Last year, we heard from some global organizations that they believe glyphosate was a possible or a probable carcinogen. This week, EPA came out and said that glyphosate does not cause cancer. I think we've had maybe a small fraction of the news items out there that we would have seen when things are bad, but that was some good news that the industry received. I think we all pretty much felt that way, and based on our own understanding of things, thought that was probably going to be the outcome of an evaluation from EPA. But it was good to see that affirmation this week, and that's some good news for the industry. We've been talking about corn planting the last couple of weeks. I think you've got some news on that, Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Another rainy week here in Northeast Ohio, so there probably won't be much field activity going on. However, some of the numbers are out, and nationally it looks like we're about halfway there with the corn going into the ground. According to the statistics, we're at 45% of the corn acres have now been planted, which is up about 15% from the 5-year average at this point in time. And soybean is at 8%, which is up from 6% over the 5-year average. So far so good, Paul, even though it's been a little wetter than normal, certainly not near as bad as last year.
Interesting, something we'll continue to keep an eye on. Another subject we've been watching is the whole GMO controversy. Again, we had more fallout with the government, not creating any kind of preemption standards in terms of labeling. We're seeing a continuing of companies exploring alternatives to GMOs. I saw something from Dannon, I think it was earlier this week, talking about sourcing feed for cows that went to dairy that would be GMO free. There's just a constant reassessing of everything with GMOs. It seems to be reaching a tipping point where companies are taking things into their own hands, and we're seeing a lot more movement toward non-GMOs or favoring GMO labeling, or even going to the extent of trying to pull GMO products out of their foods and looking to source differently, which is, it's where consumer demand seems to be going, and we may be at a tipping point where a lot of companies start moving that way, and that's what we're going to be seeing. But it's a little troubling, but at the same time, the industry is going to have to adjust to what consumers demand and what food processors are bringing, and we'll have to see where that goes.
Well, actually, Paul, along those lines, I know one of the other stories that broke this week is Monsanto has been offering its Roundup Ready to extend soybeans to growers for this 2016 growing season, and this week word came out that 3 big grain traders, Cargill, ADM, and Bunge, have told growers that they will not accept any shipments from the growers that contain Roundup Ready to extend soybeans, because the EU has not yet approved that variety for consumption. So the fear is that the European Union, which takes about 10% of the U.S. ag exports of crops, will reject loads and cost growers potentially millions of dollars in the process. So again, the fear is still there.
Yeah, lots of uncertainty, unfortunately. You got anything else? You wrapped up? Well, I just wanted to mention that we're producing the Precision Ag Buyer's Guide right now. We're in the midst of that.
Yes.
We've started our production, and that's going to be coming out in June. So look for that in your mailboxes and so forth. We're also putting together the Precision Ag Vision Conference and Innovation Series meetings. It's going to be in August and October. You can find more information on precisionag.com on those events. Encourage you to look into those. And with that, we'll leave you for this week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.